great Maine Lumberjack show. We want to first thank the city of Van Buren for inviting us here and sponsoring our show, so let's give them a nice hand. It's a real treat for us to be here. I mean, even I knew some of the history of the area, but it's great coming here, you know, and to meet all the families and see how connected everybody is and how excited. I met a couple from Minneapolis, and they were here because of their heritage, and I really enjoy that history. And this is quite a place. I got to go into all the buildings in between the last two shows, and it's beautiful. You should be very proud of this village that you have in this area. Anyway, what we're going to do today is recreate an old-fashioned lumberjack competition, which is something you might have seen in these woods over 100 years ago. And we're going to include all the old-time skills of the lumberjacks with the underhand chopping, cross-cut sawing. We're going to do the modern chainsawing, underhand chopping, axe sawing, and of course log rolling. And we're going to compete against one another in these events. Now, our show is based out of Trenton, Maine. How many of you know where Trenton is? Somebody earlier said New Jersey. There is a Trenton in. Trenton is in between Ellsworth and Bar Harbor. I worked with my family in Wisconsin for 15 years before I decided it was time for me to be on my own. And so I chose the birthplace of logging in America to move to start my lumberjack show. I thought it made a lot of sense. And so I bought 35 acres near Acadian National Park because of the tourist base there. And I'm happy and proud to tell you this is my 19th year since I started my lumberjack show here. And it was a long time that I didn't think I would come to year 19. But besides having a lumberjack show, and we do shows there every evening at 7 p.m. And we do all the events here, plus a couple of more, so we invite you to stop by there sometime. Whether you come to the show or not, just stop in and say hi. And I also have a traveling show, and I've been all over the world, Australia, New Zealand, Africa, Europe, and of course all over the U.S. and Canada. But it's a team of all female logging sports athletes called Chicks with Axes. And that's been a lot of fun. And these guys want to get rid of the Chicks with Axes and just take them out on the road. They look pretty tough, don't they? So anyway, I'm promoting the women in the sports and kids. They teach lessons to young kids, and it's an overall great sport to be involved in. I'm happy to be keeping the tradition of this state alive all here and all over the country. So we've had a lot of TV shows come visit us here in May too, with Travel Channel, the Weather Channel, MTV Real World filmed an episode at my site. That was cool. And we did Extreme Home Makeover. I was on Survivor, Panama, Exile Island. And I know, thank you, that was fun. And then last year I got selected to be on a cast for another show for National Geographic. Wow. And it was a cast of 12. We trekked across Alaska with our backpacks on, sleeping on glaciers, which I'd never done. But it was called Ultimate Survival Alaska. And this girl from Maine was the only woman on the series. So that was pretty cool. I know I felt really proud of that. Thank you. And so today I'm going to be calling the competition and participating as well. And I'll introduce the other fellas in my show. This fella in the green is going into his senior year of high school. And he's been log rolling. I know, he's been log rolling with me for a couple of years. So he's started there, and then he started chopping and sawing. He's in my show every night down in Trenton. And after he graduates, he's hoping to go to Maine Maritime Academy. Let's welcome Sam Smith. Hurry up, here's my ride. And the next fella grew up north of Bangor, but he now makes Ellsworth his home. And he is an arborist by trade, and he works for a tree service in Trenton, so he's out in the woods working all day. And then he's chopping and sawing at the Lumberjack show at night. Let's have a nice warm welcome for Eric Good. We're going to get it revved up right away. These are the hot saws. Power saws are the tools that cut the old-time skills of the lumberjacks out of the logging camp, but they are very important for today's lumberjacks work in the woods. So we always include power sawing in our competitions, as well as helping to keep the old-time skills of the lumberjacks alive. We're using a steel 046 Magnum. It's a stock modified class saw stock. means we take it off the shelf. Modified means we change it. We beef it up, we juice it up. And as a result, they are loud, so we'll ask the kids to cover their ears. You be the judge of the distance between you and the noise, whether you want to cover your ears. They, of course, wear safety gear, which I recommend you do. Chainsaw chaps, eye protection, ear protection. And we're going to make 3 cuts, 1 down, 1 up, and 1 down. And that, then they position a warm saw underneath a block of wood they're cutting, and then position their hands on the top log to make sure that each competitor is in the same starting position as the next, so that no one's got an unfair advantage over the other in the start of the race. And Gary, please keep clear for the box seating that we have sold over here. She's got the permit. I look over, she's got the best seat in the house, I reckon. All right. And you know what we'll do instead of asking who's going to cheer for who? Okay. That lady, the black pants on the blue blouse, raise your hand. Higher, so everybody can see it. No, seriously. She is the dividing line. Everybody over this way, you're cheering for Sam. Yay! Everybody over this way, you're cheering for Eric. Yay! All right. You can boo the other guy if you want to. All right, Sawyer's ready. 3, 2, 1, go! Eric left his chain brake on. That's his fault. Error operation. Operator error. Let's give them both a nice hand. We're going to turn our attention on Ben for Axoid. We're going to give each competitor 1 practice throw and 3 scoring throws. Yeah, scoring is the inside red is 5. Then it's 4, 3, 2. The green is 1. If you cut 2 rings, you receive the higher inside point. All right, go ahead. Oh!
Nothing to it.
That's easy. I'll just tell you, the last show, all 3 of Sam's throws wouldn't have beaten his first throw here. So that deserves a standing ovation. How convenient. Another one! I'm buying dinner if you hit all bullseyes.
You buying dinner?
If you both of you have to hit all bullseyes.
The dinner is ploys, right?
What's that?
Dinner is ploys.
Oh yes, of course. That's good.
Oh! You put
Now
pressure.
you're buying me dinner. It's not. You just hit a bullseye, Sam. All right. Really,
He used that as excuse.
excuses.
Do the same thing.
Hit the truck.
4. Wait a minute, mister. You haven't even had time to not like me. You just want to hit my truck. Give me a day or 2 here. All right. So in our 3rd and final round, we go from low score to high score. And let's see. Sam, you throw first. He's got a total of 5, and Eric's got 9. And 2 more for a total of 7. Let's give Sam a nice hand. And now Eric's got 9. If you hit a bullseye, Sam's buying us both ice cream. Oh, this is after the 3rd show. He's going for a beer. There's no other way around it. Sam's buying the first prize! Let's give them both a nice hand. a demonstration with the crosscut saw next. The crosscut saws are the tools that changed the timber industry. And that's because a good team of two sawyers could outcut a dozen of the best axemen. These lumberjacks are chopping away, and all of a sudden here come the crosscut saws. And I know that the history of the bowl saw is quite prominent up here, and we are using the old-fashioned crosscut saw today. This is a peg and raker saw. It's the original style that was designed for cutting. It's got a cutting tooth and a raker tooth, just like a chainsaw. And this has got a series of teeth all the way along the saw. It goes cutter raker, cutter raker, cutter raker, cutter raker. And then the in-between space is equally as important. What happens is the cutters cut the wood and separate it from the log, so now you have this wood just floating around in there, and then the raker comes and grabs it and forces it into the area in between. It's like a little storage area, and as the saw moves back and forth, the chips go back and forth and fall out on either end. And so it's cutting, cleaning, and removing chips at all times. There's only half a dozen men in the world that know how to make crosscut saws for competition. And if you're going to compete today, you're going to buy a saw. Your first saw for competition is going to cost you $2,000. And the same saw that we're going to use here in Maine to cut poplar is not the saw I'm going to use if I go to Australia and cut their hardwood, their gum trees and stuff. And so you're going to spend all that much more money. It's expensive. The same saw you're going to use for single bucking is not the same saw you're going to use for double bucking or jack and jill, la la la. It goes on and on. It's very expensive. One knot can ruin teeth on a saw, and back to the filer it goes. Now, we're going to just do a demonstration here to show you the technique of crosscut sawing. And you want to use the whole length of the saw and just get a rhythm going and speed it up as you get that rhythm going and keep it moving. All right, we're going to let them set the teeth of the saw into the wood. You need a little weight. I mean a little. Don't make any jokes either. Okay. You'll be walking home. All right, sawyers ready. 3, 2, 1, go. It's like a bucket rock. Come on, cheer them on. Let's give him a nice hand. That thing needs to be secured a little bit. That was a wild ride.
Thank you.
What are you saying thank you for?
Well, that's what I say when I'm done.
Not to play it. Then what do you do when you're done? You haven't even started yet. Where's the little rabbit you were telling us about?
It's right here.
Where do you see rabbits that look like that?
I told you on the side of Route 1 last night.
That's not. What was a stupid little rabbit doing on the road?
I thought he was sleeping.
What makes you think he was sleeping?
Well, because when we went over him in the truck, he looked like he got a little tired.
Oh! That didn't make it all. Hey, he's just leveling off the top of his log. Now he'll begin the carve. Carve us a widow wedding. You need that right there, eh? So, let's see, 2 big ears, 2 eyes, nose, whiskers, and a big old happy smile. That's really good, but we're going to give him a second here to finish it up. Because you need to put a little tail in the back. Because everybody likes a little tail. And then we're going to come around front. First, the kids don't get that. Then we're going to come around for some fluffy eyebrows. So 2 more cuts, and we'll see what it looks like. stuff right there.
Those are the fluffy eyebrows you just told me to put on there.
Fluffy, you just decapitated the rabbit.
I didn't decapitate him, Tina. I might have irritated him a little bit.
Wait a minute. I'd say you cut his ears right off. How'd you go and do that?
Well, it wasn't my fault.
What do you mean it wasn't your fault? You're the only one running the chainsaw. Whose fault was it?
See this cat right here?
Yeah?
See that woman standing right next to him?
Yes, I do.
Well, sir, I'm sorry to inform you, but your wife has been winking at me and blowing me kisses this entire show.
Really?
She got me a little flustered, I'm not gonna lie.
Did she? Woo-hoo! What?
She's the one that made me do it.
Made you do what?
She made me cut a hair too deep.
Rabbit? Hair? I apologize. You need to sit down and think about what you're going to carve at the 7 o'clock show. See, we don't have that.
We don't have a 7 o'clock show.
I know what they don't know that. Eric?
Tina?
Stand up and show everybody that cute little thing you're sitting on.
Isn't this a family show?
Joe, you're going to love it. Check this out. They're going to... They have schools for dancing now.
I don't have time for dancing.
Hey, look at he made a little lumberjack hair chair, but you know what? It's kind of small for you. Maybe, yeah, just by chance, look at that. But it's small for you. Go to the right. You know, and there's a little young feller down there that needs his own chair. Bring it out here so everybody can see him, though. Eric, don't go.
I know you're probably not supposed to come with strangers, but you can come with me.
I'll just set it right down there. You want to sit in the chair? Go ahead and sit in the chair. Would you like to sit in the chair, kid? Kids are bendable. Push them in there. He's suddenly a worm. What's his name? Kelton. How old are you, Kelton? Put your fingers up. He's 2. Okay, and where do you folks live? Portland, Maine? Yeah. Cool. And are you the father? Yeah. That'll be $20, please. We're going to give that to you as a souvenir of visiting the Lumberjack show. Oh, nice. Let's do it like that. Hey, log rolling got its start in the 1800s in the springtime on the log drives. Obviously, with the logging heritage that we have here, before there were logging trucks and before there were many railways cut deep in the forest, the lumberjacks would float the logs into town using the waterways. And obviously, everybody that comes to this festival is really into history, so you would know that if you looked at a state of Maine map, years ago it could have been a road map with all the rivers, and many of our cities and towns were built on the rivers because it was easier to travel on. And so they would cut the timber all winter long, stack the wood by the river's edge, or put it on top of the frozen over rivers and lakes. And then in the springtime, after all the ice and snow melted, it would bring the river levels up, and there was more water to move the millions of board foot of timber into town. And this was done in the springtime after all the ice and snow melted. So it was cold. It was very cold. These guys were tough. And they had a lot of logs. And if you slipped, it was imminent death. Either being crushed between two logs or dying in the freezing water. Thank goodness we only have one log in here. And the water's not that bad. Now normally we would wear a pair of spiked shoes, but this is a vinyl line taken, we can't wear our spikes. And it's all the rage and has been for 2 decades to roll on carpeted logs. It sounds crazy, but that's a western red cedar log. It comes from British Columbia. And I ship the logs here from BC. They're expensive. And if we carpet the log, that log's been with me for 19 years at the show. And it floats better than any other timber. I've changed the carpet. First we started out with shag, brown, and we got tired of that. We always go over to the really low pile. And in the water, it does begin to ravel, so we just change the carpet. But we roll with tennis shoes on. These might look like a regular old shoe, but they're actually a shoe made for carpeted rolling. They're made in a log rolling shoe factory somewhere in the Far East. And fortunately for us, we have a Far East log rolling shoe outlet in Ellsworth called Walmart. They're the cheapies. And anyway, the cardinal rule in log rolling is never take your eyes off the other end of the log. You need to see the surface that you're standing on to gain your balance on that surface. Then use your arms like this, like a balance pole, like a great Walinda, and then take quick little steps. At the beginning, I tell children and adults to exaggerate, pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter. You're always removing your weight from the log and let the log move underneath you. And we're going to have a best-of-3 match between that young fella right there and my own self. And so now everybody that was cheering for Eric, you're going to be cheering for me! Including you, lady! Now I want to hear some noise if I'm in it. Yeah, you better get ready, kid. Be quiet. Oh, come on, do it, Sam. I really want to.
Come on, Sam, you can do it.
Come on, Tina.
Oh!
Tina.
Bobbing up and down. And once you start doing it in the backwash, the pool makes it crazy. Sam wins the first ball.
Better win the next. Yeah, that's teacher.
Go, Tina. Go.
Drag the torture out a little longer. All right. It is our third and final fall. Okay.
Have you heated the pool?
Nice one. Heated the pool? I log rolled on Kodiak Island once and they had to chip the ice for us to log roll.
We could arrange it.
We could arrange that. Bless you. But you'll learn something about our rich logging heritage and modern competition as well. Let's have another nice hand for these guys. Sam, myself, Tina, and Acadian Village for sponsoring us. Have a great rest of your day and weekend. Enjoy this beautiful weather.